territory of the Mi'kmaq people. So now I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'll do roll call and welcome everybody here. So District number 1, Deputy Warden Poirier.
Alfred here.
District number 2, Councillor Laurie Cranton.
Councillor Cranton here.
District 3, Councillor Mustard.
Here.
District 4, Councillor McLennan.
Here.
District 5, that's me, Betty Ann McCory, here. District 6, Councillor John Dowling.
Here.
Okay, we're good to go. So we'll start with the approval of the minutes, of the agenda, sorry. Start with the approval of the agenda. So I'll entertain a motion for the approval of today's agenda.
I will move the adoption of the agenda if there's no additional whatsoever.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Warden Poirier and seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Dowling that we approve the agenda in front of us. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Warden, who do we have on for staff today?
Oh, well, yeah, we could find that out, I suppose.
So there's
could
myself, Keith McDonald, CAO, Debbie Nicholson, Tanya Tebow, Melanie Beaton, Donna McDonald, Aaron Gillis, Carolyn Aucoin, and Charlotte McDonald.
welcome staff members as well, for sure. So, all in favor of the approval of the agenda? Signify by saying aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes, and we have 3 sets of minutes. We'll start with the regular council meeting minutes of June 4th. Do we have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion, Warden.
Moved by Councillor Dowling and seconded by
Alfred Poirier.
Deputy Warden Poirier, that we approve the regular council minutes of June 4th. All in favor of that motion?
Aye. Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Committee of the Whole minutes, June 18th. Did we all get a chance to read those over? Motion for approval. We can discuss the minutes afterwards.
So moved, Warden.
Moved by Councillor Mustard.
Mustard.
Seconded by?
Councillor Cranton.
Moved by Councillor Mustard and seconded by Councillor Cranton that we approve the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting, which took place on June 18th. All in favor of that motion?
Aye. Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. We also had a special meeting on June 29th, special council meeting. Are there any errors or omissions?
No, I'll make that motion, Warden.
Okay, moved by Councillor Dowling and seconded by
Councillor Cranton.
Councillor Cranton, that we approve the minutes of the special council meeting of June 29th. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Any discussion from any of those 3 sets of minutes?
Councillor Cranton here. Just have a question. It might have been our last council meeting. We discussed the group in the seniors group in East Marguerite. We were looking at giving them, I think it was $300 through my discretionary funding. or through money that may be available from the seniors grants that are out there. I believe Charlotte was I'm just wondering if that got processed or where that would be.
Certainly, Charlotte can provide an update on that.
Is she on here? No.
Yeah, yes, I'm
Oh,
on.
are you there?
Hi, yeah, hi, Lori.
Hi.
Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it was sent for processing. So it's just, it went through the seniors emergency funding as a request. So it's just going to be processed through finance now.
Okay. Do you need it? I have the lady's contact and address. I'm just wondering if you need a contact there to send it to. If you do.
I believe that I had
You
received
had that?
an application, but if you could just send it, just so we double check that it went to the right person.
Okay, I'll throw that off after we finish the meeting here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte. Anything further in business arising from any of the sets of minutes?
Nope. Okay.
No.
In those minutes, we agreed to have staff write letters to several different people regarding several different issues. I just wondered if the letter regarding the frontline healthcare workers was sent, the election letter, and the town of Mulgrave letter, the PBSC letter. I just wondered if any of those letters have been penned or scripted.
Yes, all those correspondence has been put together. There'll be, some of them have been sent out and others will be followed up with actually today. Due to the just recent announcements that we've heard in regards to frontline workers, we may want to adjust that one before we submit it, because there's been some further clarity from the province on what workers do qualify under that program.
Right. Okay, so we haven't sent the letter yet then. We can
Not that one, no.
redo it, okay. And what about PVSC? Has that one gone out?
I'll have to double check on those. Debbie and I and Carolyn have been meeting on all of our correspondences on an ongoing basis, so I can double check and give you an update right after the meeting.
Okay, that's great. So I guess, is there anything further, Council, that you'd like to discuss in business arising?
No.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the first reading of the bylaw to authorize the voting by telephone and internet for the 2020 municipal election. I think you may have noticed that we have a new proposed bylaw, and I'm sure you all read it through just to see if it meets your approval.
So as the warden mentioned, there has been some changes since the first draft that was provided to council. This is the first reading though for this the updated version, and it provides detail on how this process would work in quite detail. It was sent out in council's package for review, and if there's any questions, staff are here today to handle those. And also if there's any recommended changes, we would make those before it goes to second reading.
Okay. So with that said, is someone ready to make a motion that it passes first reading at our meeting today?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion is made by Councillor Cranton and seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Dowling, that we approve the first reading of this bylaw, of the bylaw to authorize the voting by telephone and internet for the 2020 municipal election. All in favor of the motion to approve the first reading? Signify by
Aye.
contrary minded.
Aye.
Motion carried. No further discussion on that one? Okay. The next item on the agenda is J-class roads.
So
where do we?
the council has asked staff to reach out to Transportation Infrastructure Renewal in regards to a number of the approved roads, particularly the ones in the community of Inverness that impact municipal infrastructure, water and sewer pipes below the roads. So the province has provided us some additional time to review the costs associated with our infrastructure improvements in relations to those roads. We have a meeting tomorrow with a number of engineering and planning staff with Transportation Infrastructure Renewal to go through those roads again in detail and to come up with a plan of action in terms of those roads going out for tendering from the province. But in the meantime, we've also did some additional investigation for Maple Street in Inverness. The area in question is from the Manor up or down towards Old Deepdale Road. And if that street was designated for repaving, there would not be any significant impact to water and wastewater infrastructure beneath or adjacent to that particular street.
So you're just waiting to hear back from the Department of Transportation, but in the meantime, the J roads that were listed in the minutes have gone forward, have they? Or
Yes, the ones that council approved for the J-Class Phase 1 were already submitted, and saw at the last meeting the approved roads by council for Phase 2 have also been advanced.
so that was a motion because it was a special council meeting, right? We don't have to approve it as a recommendation today.
No.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to be sure.
So that's, Warden, I have a question. Okay,
Yes,
so
go ahead.
yeah, all the roads that we're talking about, they're all J roads and paved roads, are we? You know, we're talking about, or
In Phase 2, yes, that's all repaving. In Phase 1, there was a road in District 4 that was slated from gravel to asphalt.
mhm. Could I, yeah, I understand that. I know it's just a simple question, but you know, why was that one, the gravel road accepted, you know? Not that I'm against it, but again, I went to, you know, about a month or so or whatever, you know, and people are asking me, you know, no, it's all on paved road, you know, and, you know, the only thing that are allowed are J roads. And, you know, I keep going with this. And then what will be happening is that, you know, we're going to see this in the Iran that it might be a gravel road. And then they're going to say, Alfred, you're not telling us the truth. You know, I think I can handle it, you know, but is there any particular reason why it was, you know I was there, I voted for it and I agree for it, you know, no problem there. But it's just that I want to make sure that we don't get on the spot and we tell the people the right thing at the right time and at the right place, you know?
Certainly, it's a very confusing program, and I'm sure it would confuse residents. Not only that, it's confusing as terms of the various designations roads have within the province's envelope of road infrastructure they're responsible for. But simply put, phase one was for any J-class road could be submitted either for repaving or a gravel to asphalt. Now, the province has done very few of those, and particularly in Inverness County over the past number of years. But as mentioned, a gravel road through the phase one of the J-class road program was approved by the province for gravel to asphalt. So phase two of the program, so this additional new funding that the province has made available to municipalities through the J-class road program, was only designated for repaving and not from gravel to asphalt.
Yeah.
So phase one was more open, and that's the ongoing J-class road program. Phase two was just a special allocation this year that the province added a significant amount of money into the J-class road, this special J-class road program, and it didn't allow for any gravel to asphalt.
Okay, so in other words, that gravel road was a J road before and everything, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, CAO McDonald, I appreciate that.
Keith, do you have any idea, or do you recall how many kilometers of gravel road was going to be paved?
No, I don't have that in front of me, but we can get that during the meeting. But it was just for one particular road in the in District 4 in the community of Waitagama.
Right, okay. Just curious about the kilometers.
Can I
Okay,
make one comment, Warden, just
Yeah.
with regards to the District 3 J-class? I'm glad to, I did meet with Steve McDonald and looked at the stretch of Maple Street that has new infrastructure. They put in a new sewer treatment and water lines down there, and we both agreed that it's we could look at replacing one of the other streets that has a fair amount of infrastructure in terms of the costing for the paving. So if staff can do that with TIR, just to find what is a replacement street, while next year we can look at some of that greater cost of infrastructure, or if somehow we might be able to get more cooperation from the federal and provincial governments for some of those costs, just because they're pretty great. And I'm making the point that there's over $50 million of infrastructure in Inverness that needs to be done over the next 10 years. And so I don't think we can use an area rate unless we bundled this all up and been able to compensate the ratepayers for the full $50 million rather than just each street by street. We'd end up having an area rate that would be very complex, and I don't think it's fair. So somehow I think we need to, and I think staff are looking at that, how we can bundle up the $50 million and look at greater contribution from the federal government as well as the provincial government for us to undertake all the infrastructure. So for right now, it'd just be great if they could look at an exchange with one of the other streets where the infrastructure is needing to be renewed and get Maple Street prioritized for this year. So I appreciate that.
that would be great if that could happen. Keith, is it able to get under the time allowance to reply?
It should be. If council makes that recommendation to staff to pursue that, we can do that right away.
Okay.
Warden, if I could have a second to weigh in here a little bit.
Go ahead, Councilor Trenton.
And cut me off here if I'm off the topic, but as we reviewed the last at our COW meeting, was reviewed the J Road items, and similar to the water and sewer, when we get into that, in District 2 we have no water and sewer, we have no J Road, so we don't see any of that money coming into this district, but yet we have many street and call it road problems, some very significant that I would be ashamed to put anybody's car across. I met with a group yesterday in our Snow Hill, and when they read this in the Oran and see, they're trying to get a 1 kilometer stretch repaired. When they see in the Oran the money the municipality is spending with the province on J roads, they're going to be coming right to me and say, where are we in this mix? And it's very difficult to sort out even the different levels of government and who's responsible for what. And I've spent some time doing that. But what I'm looking for right now, where there's none of that funding able to be spent here, is just a letter of support from the council. Just ask the minister to help to try to bring this road, it's our Snow Hill Road, up to a standard that's acceptable to the public. And that's basically all I'm looking for, that would help with, at least it shows support behind their dilemmas here and what they're dealing with. And if anybody wants to come and drive that road with me, I'll take my big truck, because I wouldn't want to take your car over. But, it's bad. It's on a steep hill. Guardrails are missing. Culverts are missing. Ditching's needed. It's a mess. And they're paving a piece of road right below at 2 kilometers. That is the best 2 kilometers of the whole area. They were supposed to do about 15 kilometers. Now they got it down to 2. So money's going everywhere else, and they're getting really nothing there. And I'm really trying to work with them to just stir something. They're talking about going to Halifax like the people in Deepdale did. They're talking about setting up, they're writing letters. They're doing all the stuff they need to do on their own. So any support we can give them would be beneficial. And I know that's a little bit off the J roll, but I thought I'd sneak it in there if I could.
Yeah, Warden?
Yes. Deputy Warden.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I traveled those roads, and and I went on Arso not too far ago. But my point is, it's like I was on the radio station this morning and talking about the J roads and everything, and it's very simple. I understand how you feel and the position you are, but I put it straight. Maybe I sounded a little bit political, but I put it straight. Where's Alan McMaster and where is the Minister of Transportation? We didn't see Alan overall for the last COVID-19, anything at all. I don't want to go there, but at the same time, I don't want to get, and you shouldn't get, blamed for something that Alan McMaster and Lloyd Hines are responsible for. And it's a sad situation for you, Councillor, because I understand where you're coming from.
And in that light, I've got them understanding who's responsible for what, and it's not a municipal responsibility. It is a provincial, and they're wondering the same questions you're mentioning there about where their representative is. And what I did tell them, I would ask council to write just a letter of support to the minister to take some action there. And I can help with that letter and provide some education to what's going on there if we accept doing that.
So, Councillor Cranton, I do see that you're probably seeing a perceived unfairness here. However, we all have roads, such as what you just described.
Oh, I know.
A letter to the minister every time, and I think the last time you brought it up, right, we discussed having a meeting with the Department of Transportation and put forward all of our roads and, support everybody's situation across the board. But I do understand that you do feel that there is a perceived unfairness because the other 5 districts have J roads, and that dates way back to the service exchange between the province and the municipalities.
I understand all that, but the average person doesn't.
I know, and it took us a while to understand it as well. Yeah. So now that we do, I don't think we're any better off. But
I know the letter may not do a lot of good, but in their eyes, it shows that the municipality is behind their effort in supporting that. I think that'll do as much in that way as anything. And believe me, they're going to be talking and writing Mr. Hines. They're doing a letter writing campaign. They're asking for responses. They're working on a petition right now, which I did sign. And they're doing all kinds of the lobbying that they need to do. Like I'll use Deepdale Road as an example, where that community lobbied hard and got action at the end of the day. And that's probably what's going to happen. So
Okay, so we have some input from councillors.
I agree with sending a letter of support. That's fine.
Okay, we'll continue around the table. Deputy Warden, you already statement
Yeah,
you, sir.
I
Further?
definitely agree with it. 100%
Okay.
plus.
District 4, Councillor McLennan, you agree with writing a letter on behalf
Oh,
of
God,
this?
yes.
Okay,
Because later on, we all might need a letter of support for roads anyway, so.
definitely.
Lower your support on the road.
Okay. District
Excuse
5.
me, sorry. Who
Oh, go
are you
ahead.
going to write letters to?
It would go to the Minister of Transportation and maybe a copy to
McMaster?
Master or something, for what good
Yeah.
that'll do.
What about Steve McDonald?
It'll come down the line to him.
Okay,
So I'd rather him get it from the minister.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
better that way.
Okay, District 5, that's me. If everybody's in favor of writing a letter, I'm fine with it as well. Councillor Dowling.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fine as well.
Okay, so
Thank you, Council.
we will write a letter to the Minister of Transportation regarding Arsenal Hill
Yeah.
and the efforts to do.
Yeah, and if you need any background on that, I can provide that.
Okay.
Can I go back to the issue just so I can make a recommendation for staff?
Councillor Mustard, yes.
Well, I think I just left the issue before Councillor Cranton came in with that.
The Maple
just
Street?
Just the recommendation to staff to, obviously we've approved all the other J-class roads across all the other districts. This one, the recommendation from council to staff is to have the Maple Street prioritized with regards to this year's paving in their negotiations with transportation infrastructure and replacing one of the other roads where the infrastructure needs to be replaced.
So do we all agree with that?
Yes,
Yep.
we do.
I'm
I do.
fine.
So we're giving it to staff then to hopefully get it on the list.
Okay, so we will move that forward as well. We'll be looking to have TIR representatives hopefully at the next committee of the whole meeting, just for some further conversation. And in terms of the road that was from gravel to asphalt, that's Johnson Road, and 0.261 kilometers.
That's not too many. Okay, so everybody's in agreement that the staff will contact Department of Transportation regarding Maple Street, which doesn't have a lot of infrastructure underneath and is in need of resurfacing with pavement. So we're leaving that with staff. Everybody fine with that?
Yep.
Fine. Yeah.
And back to Arsenal Hill.
Yes,
We're
so
all in
we'll get that
agreement?
letter put together right away.
Letter be
You want-
sent. to
You
the
need a
minister.
motion? You need a motion for that,
Finally.
Warden? Do you want a
Just
motion for that?
consensus to have staff advance that would suffice.
Okay.
Okay. Did you say a motion stating that, or just to
Or do
say?
we? No, I think CAO just clarified that. I was just asking
Okay.
if you needed a motion to put that
Yes.
forward.
Right, and we don't, right?
Okay. Yep.
We're all
Okay.
good.
Great. Okay. Have we completed our discussion on J-class roads then?
I'm good.
Good. Good.
Okay, now we're going to have an update from Cape Breton Island Housing Authority regarding the Orangedale Seniors Complex. Where do we stand with that?
So staff were asked to communicate with Cape Breton Island Housing in regards to the Orangedale facility that they own. we were able to get an update that the facility has been vacated this past December. Then the property was designated to be looked at for demolition, and the Eastern District Housing Authority did put out a tender for that work to be completed. I'm not sure if they received any responses to that tender, but right now the building is slated for demolition, and it may after that be designated as surplus by the province and then made available to other government organizations to potentially take a look at to see if they are of any interest in that particular property. The concerns from Councillor McLennan was just to get an update. We weren't clear on certainly what direction Cape Breton Island Housing Authority was going to take on this particular property. We have gotten that update, but council may want to follow up with the Housing Authority to find out more details on why the building was slated for demolition.
So, yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. Who decided it was going to be demolished? Was it Eastern District Planning Commission? They were involved, were they? Were
No,
they
I'm
involved?
sorry, I should correct myself there. If I referenced Eastern District Planning, that was a mistake.
Cape Breton Island House.
Yes, Cape Breton Island Housing Authority.
Okay. Okay, so it wasn't designated as an unsightly premise or anything like that?
No, it was solely in the Housing Authority's purview, this project. So I'm sorry for that mistake
Threw
there.
me off a little, no big deal. I just wondered how Eastern District Planning got involved, but they didn't, so that's fine. Do we have a time frame as to when it's going to be demolished, or?
I wasn't able to ascertain the timeline. I'm not sure if they actually had any responses to their RFP. The process in terms of designating properties for demolition or having residents vacate a building, we don't have any clarity on that. So I'm not sure if council was hoping to get some additional inquiries into the Housing Authority for responses.
Well, it's
Okay.
correct. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Head Councillor McLennan.
Well, is the building condemned, or that to give it a reason to be torn down?
No, there was no detailed reasoning as to why the building was slated for demolition. We can ask that of the Housing Authority for greater details around that. So we can do that if council would so wish.
Warden,
Go ahead.
Deputy Warden?
my question is, Councillor Dowling, it is in your district, is it, or is it in John? The other John?
John McLennan.
John, that building, is it, would it be like fit to sell, or, you know, like, for example, we have a lot of people looking for apartments, or, you know, anything at all. Is there anything there that I think personally I feel that maybe we should talk more about it, and like you were saying, Councillor McLennan, maybe see how the building is fit, or etc. And I think I would agree that we would have more information on it and see what we can do, because with the Cape Breton housing, we do put in, I don't know, about 180,000-60,000 a year. So I think we should have a good look at it and see how it goes from there, you know, and because I have another letter of support that I would need, you know, for housing too, and I'll bring it for the next meeting. So I would agree with you, Mr. Councillor McLennan, you know, about getting more details and checking about the building itself, etc.
Actually, I do recall discussion on this before, and I think it's the land underneath it that's shifting, that taking the building down. Does anybody recall something like that in the discussion?
Yeah, there's one part of the village sank, I guess, right after they moved in. I don't know if it was a couple of inches or whatever, but it never moved since. You can go in the building now and you can open and shut every door.
Oh,
But I had a couple of people, well, not a couple, there was 3 people in looking at it. We were looking at it from the outside and of course looking in the windows, and they can't find, there's a new roof on it, it needs siding, there's new windows. And there was a couple of people looking at it for, like Councillor Pori said, for housing. And like we said, there's quite a need for housing around in the whole of Cape Breton and the whole of the province. And there was a group in Orangedale, it was led by Murray Goldston. I've been talking to him on it, and they would take it over, or we could take it over and sell it to whoever for housing. It's a lot of housing for, I guess, the whole ladder to these people from away, but people are looking for housing. And the
How many
building's not in bad shape.
How many units in it, John?
15.
Wait.
15.
Was that right? 15?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, 15.
Wow.
15 apartments.
I know if somebody took it over, it would take it would take money to get it going again. But they took the heating system out of it already. And I think that's about all. But that's
So
what
it
they're
looks
looking at. I know I guess a couple of developers were looking at it. And they couldn't find anything wrong. You can look at the building from the outside, you can't see any sag in it. The roof is perfectly flat in the whole thing. So that's what they're looking at.
Okay.
So we'll have back to them to find out why they are demolishing it.
Yes.
Yes, we can certainly do that.
But,
The
you know,
first
I never heard
inquiries were
anybody
just to
say
find out
condemn.
and get an update from Cape Breton Island Housing Authority, what their intents were with the building, because it was unclear. But now we do have that update.
Well, it's a good thing we went looking. I mean, they should report to us what they're going to do with the seniors building in Inverness County, I would think. But we had to go inquiring, right?
Yes, we weren't informed of that decision in regards to demolitions for that facility until we made the inquiries.
Good.
But haven't we got, I see, Claude Poirier on that association?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
And we have
board.
others from Inverness County as well.
Pardon?
We have Claude and we have others from Inverness County as well.
You know,
Yeah.
they should have notified us about the building what their intentions were when it's back in December when they started putting the people out. But the problem with the building was, it's not the building, it was the housing people themselves that put people that in the building that shouldn't have been in there. You know, there was drunk, there was good people in there, then they just took anybody in. It's their own fault, it's not anybody else's.
Okay, so are there any other discussion points? Or will we once again leave it with staff to find out why? Maybe it's too late, maybe it's down, who knows?
No, it's not down.
Okay.
No, it's still up.
Okay. Well, we should find out why.
Okay, we'll follow up with Cape Breton Island Housing right away.
Great.
Okay.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to start with our recommendations. And the first recommendation from Committee of the Whole was to have council approve the writing of a letter to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, Chuck Porter, MP Mike Kellaway, and MLA Lloyd Hines, asking for clarity on the issue of wastewater treatment plant replacement funding, or infrastructure funding, I guess. The letter will be copied to the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, and well, it has here Minister Mark Peck, but he's the executive director, I believe, right? Yeah, so we'll change that to executive director, ED. Yeah, so is there something that would like to make a motion to that effect, to find some clarity on why there is that push towards Mulgrave to get that done, but the pullback to fund the whole project as they did in the Cape Breton Regional Municipality?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor McLennan,
I second.
seconded by Deputy Warden Poirier, that we write a letter to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, Chuck Porter, MP Kellaway, and MLA Lloyd Hines, asking for clarity on the issue of wastewater treatment plant replacement funding. The letter will be copied to the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities and also to the Executive Director, Mark Peck. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion is carried. So the next recommendation is regarding systemic racism. And the recommendation to council to approve would be to create a committee to look at the actions that should be undertaken to create a fair and equitable community for all people, regardless of race. So everybody in agreement with forming a committee? We'll make it formal with a motion and a seconder.
I move, Warden McQuarrie, that we accept the recommendation as stated in your.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Warden Poirier and seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Dowling, that we create a committee to look at all the actions that should be undertaken to create a fair and equitable community for all people, regardless of race. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? The motion is carried. The next recommendation to council is to fly a pride flag outside the Port Hood Municipal Building. And I think we already did that. So we'll make it formal approval with a motion.
So
I move
moved.
that we accept the pride flag at the municipal building in Porter.
Okay.
I'll
It's
second that.
moved by Deputy Warden Poirier and seconded by Councillor Cranton that we fly the pride flag outside the Port Hood Municipal Building. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Before we go first, how long is this flag going to be up? Because I know I'm going to be asked.
June is
Forever or-
Pride Month, so it
Pardon?
actually should be down. Whether it is or not, I don't know.
Yes, so Pride Month is June, so
Okay.
once that's complete, the staff will make sure that it's brought down after that date.
Oh yeah, no, it don't matter to me. It's just because I know people would ask.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So it's still up then, is it?
Yeah, it's still up.
Okay.
Yes, but we have staff that are looking at bringing down as appropriate at the appropriate time.
Okay. So we didn't finish voting on that. All in favor of the motion signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
okay, motion carried. So the next recommendation is the St. Rose Community Dividend Fund. So the recommendation to council is to support the agreement between the municipality and Scotian Web Limited Partnership. Y'all get a chance to read it? All 8
Yep.
pages?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement between the municipality and Scotia Wind.
I have Scotia Wind here. Okay, Scotia Wind. Okay.
Mhm.
Seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councillor Cranton, seconded by Councillor Dowling, that we approve supporting the agreement between the municipality and Scotia Wind Limited Partnership. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion
Warden,
carried.
could I ask a question there? I'm just
Yes.
wondering if we've had any requests for payment of the pavement for Belcote Wharf Road. And do you know if that's been requested or if we have the money in our account now to pay that when that request comes in? Because I know the job is going to be completed.
So you're wondering if there's any requests for the $8,000?
Yes. And you don't have to answer that right now. You can send me an email if it's easier to.
I'm not aware of the request. I'll check in with staff again, but I don't think that's been received yet.
Yeah. So the money hasn't been transferred to us as yet either, probably, is it?
You're correct. No, that hasn't been transferred.
Okay. Yeah, we
So-
have to approve this first, I guess, before they're going to transfer it.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
So the
Warden.
request comes
Go
from
ahead.
the Harbor Authority.
Yes,
Okay.
the request would come from the Harbor Authority, and then they pay all the bills for the paving.
Okay. Councillor Dowling?
Just on that motion for the windmill, it is Scotian Web Limited, so maybe we.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, I guess
wasn't-
I used the wrong name.
yeah. There's a couple of
Okay.
different, if you look on the first page, there's a couple of different companies in there, so it's a partnership, but it is Scotian Web. So if you need
Thank
help with it, but
Okay. So we have approved that agreement and we voted on it, right? Debbie? We
Yep.
did.
Yeah.
Great. Easily distracted. Okay, the next item, the next recommendation from Committee of the Whole is regarding the West Bay Road Fire Department loan guarantee. So there was reference to the minister in the document. And I think it said Minister of Service Nova Scotia or something. I can't remember, but we changed that to Minister of Municipal Fair Housing, right?
Yep.
So we changed it and then it's on there twice. So when you're making the motion for approval, just take into consideration that that probably should be changed as well to Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, which is the new name, right? That
Yep.
The other one, an old name. Did anybody notice that, or? I mean, I thought it was perfection the first time I saw it, but then, anyway. So with that change, somebody
I'll
willing
make.
to? Okay. It's been moved by Councillor Dowling and seconded by
Councilor McLennan.
Councillor McLennan, that we approve the borrowing by the West Bay Road Volunteer Fire Department of $257,700, and that a slight change has to be made in the document before posting or sending to whoever needs to be sent. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay. The Inverness Development Association, Inverness Beach and Boardwalk, infrastructure repairs. So we're all familiar with this one as well. So the recommendation to council from Committee of the Whole to approve the application using gas tax funds in the amount of $20,000 pending approval of the other funding sources. So do we have open the floor for a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Mustard, seconded by
I second.
Go ahead, Albert.
Deputy
Yep.
Warden Poirier, that we approve the application for the Inverness Beach and Boardwalk infrastructure repairs using the gas tax funds in the amount of $20,000 pending approval of other funding sources. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The next recommendation is for the Cheticamp Salmon Association, barrier-free fishing platform. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle over this one the last time, if I remember. Not really, no. Recommendation to council to approve the application in the amount of $5,000. $1,250 from District 1 Community Development Funds, and $1,250 from District 2 Development Funds, and $2,500 from the Recreation Facility Grant. So open the floor for a motion.
I'll go ahead, Alfred,
Yeah, okay, I'll move it.
and I'll
Moved
second
by-
it.
Moved by, I figured that. Moved by Deputy Warden Poirier, seconded by Councillor Cranton, that we approve the application in the amount of $5,000, $1,250 from District 1, $1,250 from District 2, and $2,500 from Recreation Facility Grant for the barrier-free fishing platform. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Getting tired of hearing my voice. Okay. The next one is the appointment of warden. Recommendation to council to adopt the updated warden terms of office policy. Okay, so we have a mover.
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Dowling, seconded by
On McLennan.
Councillor McLennan. That we approve the option of the updated warden terms of office policy. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The appointment of deputy warden, recommendation to council to adopt updated deputy warden terms of office policy. We have a motion?
I move that we accept the recommendation as per se.
Moved by Deputy Warden Poirier and seconded by
Councillor Cranton.
Councillor Cranton, that we, where'd it go? That we adopt the updated deputy warden terms of office policy. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? The motion is carried. The last item on the recommendations list for approval of council is the Dalbrae graduation ceremony, which we deliberated over very quickly because it was a timely event that was being organized. And we did follow the guidance of council in making sure that that the event was insured and that we were extra insured on the event. And all of that came through just in time for the graduation to take place, and we were the sponsor of the Dalbrae ceremony that occurred in Judik, and it was very nice. I did attend, and Keith attended as well. So to make it formal, the recommendation to council that the municipality sponsor this event, provided the municipality is named as an insurer for any insurance secured for the event. So that covered a lot of territory. Do we have a mover?
So move.
Moved by Councillor McLennan, seconded by
I'll second.
Councillor Dowling, that the municipality sponsor the event in Judik for the Dalbrae Academy graduates, provided that the municipality is named as an insurer for any insurance secured for the event. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay, what's happening with the PACE program? Is there people expressing interest in it recently?
So sorry about that. So the council's had a presentation on this initiative, and they've been given an update on some of the more details around the program. So Melanie's going to come in, or she's here on the meeting actually. She's just going to run through a quick presentation, just updating council on the program and some recommendations on how we how many recipients we should be targeting, and the allocation amount per participant. So Melanie, feel free to take it away.
You're muted.
Welcome, Melanie.
Sorry. In past, council has approved a PACE program bylaw. So that's property assessed clean energy. And you have signed in agreement with Efficiency Nova Scotia to provide that program. The agreement, however, has expired. And Clean Nova Scotia made a presentation in February to council with regards to a clean energy financing program that will deliver and administer the PACE program on behalf of the municipality. As well, they will work quite directly with residents and provide additional supports. So in mobilizing this, there is an onboarding fee that council did approve as part of the operating budget, remembering that that onboarding fee of $13,500 is returnable via a funding through the Department of Energy and Mines, of which I am going to make application for. Prior to me being able to make application to get that funding back, there is some decisions that council will have to make with regards to the maximum number of homeowners that can participate per year and the maximum amount funding allocation, of which there are recommendations to council, and the recommendation is 10 homeowners per year with a maximum funding of $15,000. And that if we could reassess that if there's high demand at a later date. So I am just going to share my screen here with you. It's just going to take me a moment, sorry. Okay, so in looking at this slide, this is part of the clean energy presentation that was given in February, just showing the municipal process. So as a municipality, you've already approved a PACE bylaw, allowing the municipality to offer financing to property owners. So we're just kind of moving into this onboarding phase where the Clean Foundation will collaborate with the municipality to create a program tailored to our municipal needs. And then as we move forward in this and homeowners, there's uptake in the program and they go through the process, those financing payments will be collected by the municipality monthly as part of their taxes. So the onboarding package, as mentioned, we have the one-time startup fee. It's $13,300. Clean will provide a tailored marketing package for the municipality. We'll have about 3 to 4 phone conferences regarding the startup. There'll be some travel meetings. We'll really be focusing on the program design and customization. And then there will be evaluation of the program by participants. And yeah, this just gives some a little bit of background as to how well positioned Clean is to administer this program on the municipality's behalf. And this is some of the information that would be available as part of the marketing and communications package. Remembering that Clean will work with property owners to have an assessment done to ensure that all improvements are will save the money that they're spending on it within a period of 10 years, and the payback period time is 10 years. So as mentioned, the recommendation is for 10 property owners to participate per year and a maximum of $15,000 in funding.
Thank you, Melanie. So do you have a number of who is taking advantage of the program currently or in the last number of years? Are there many? Oh,
Tanya can provide that information,
Oh.
but keeping in mind that we have not as a municipality marketed or pushed this program since the agreement with efficiency has expired.
Okay.
So we have 3 residents that are currently enrolled in the PACE program.
Okay. Thank you, Tanya. Any further questions of council regarding the PACE program?
Nope.
Warden Macquarie, I will also.
Cranton.
Sorry.
Councilor Cranton?
Just maybe I missed it, but is there a ceiling for income for applicants?
No ceiling for income. Need to
Okay.
ensure that there's no arrears.
That's in their municipal taxes, right? Yeah.
Just also would like to say that there's 3 currently participating, but there has been a wait list started following Clean Energy's presentation to council.
Okay. Well, that's good that we're discussing it again, and are we going to market it a little more? Is that the plan?
The plan is that this program will be marketed, but the decision will have to be made on the maximum amount of homeowners that can participate, as well as the maximum amount of financing for each homeowner.
Okay. And do you have a suggested amount for each of those?
Yes, so we're recommending 10 homeowners to participate annually with a maximum funding amount of $15,000.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that can be paid back over the 10 years. And if there is a high volume of interest, we can reassess.
Any discussion, council? Deputy
So
Warden?
Sorry, go ahead.
Councilor Cranton?
Is there an amount that Clean Energy puts in as well with the 15,000?
No, Clean Energy's contribution is an advisory and administrative contribution to these, to working with homeowners for education purposes, to walk them through the process, as well as going through the assessment. So only recommendations for improvements that can be justified in terms of proving their payback investment over time will be those improvements that can move forward.
Thank you.
Anything further, council? Any further discussion? So do we want to make a decision now to
Yes,
to market it and let people know that it's available? Go ahead, Councillor Mustard.
well, I think we accept the recommendation of staff to go ahead with 10 homeowners at a 15,000, and we start to move forward, and we can evaluate it a year from now. So I think it's a good start. I know we adopted it earlier, but I think now we're ready with the staff to be able to respond to the demand. So I think we move forward.
Okay. So you want to make that a motion, Councillor Mustard?
Yes, I can move that we move forward with the staff recommendation for the PACE program for the coming year.
Okay, do we have a seconder?
On the planet.
Okay, seconded by Councillor McLennan. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? The motion is carried to move forward with staff recommendations. Okay. We have in correspondence a report from the Cape Breton Regional Enterprise Network Liaison Oversight Committee. It was in your package. Is there any discussion on it? Questions?
Oh, all good.
Okay. Keith, did you want to speak to it? Or?
The partnership does provide an annual update. If council would like that, maybe additional update just in regards to their report, we can reach out to them if council would like that to occur.
I think so. How does council feel?
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
More information?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Great. And I guess maybe the other correspondence is in process.
Yes, we
Outward
went
bound.
through a number of letters that are being distributed, as well as the letter that's just now been requested as a follow-up to the Cape Breton Island Housing Authority. Would council like an update at a upcoming council meeting from the Housing Authority on what their current status is and where the standing of the other facilities in the county are at the current this current time?
I don't think we've met the new CEO.
No.
So are you suggesting that we invite him and maybe some staff members to the meeting?
Warden, could I say a few words?
Yep, Gordon, go ahead.
I would agree definitely that we would have a meeting with the new CAO or whoever, for the Cape Breton housing, because I was talking to Norm, who's, I don't know exactly his title, but he's coming down Cheticamp, and I do have a problem. Apparently, they're going to have a non-smoking rule coming in the 1st of January 2021. But I had it here for the next meeting or the COW to send a letter of support to the housing for non-smoking, especially in District 1 where because we have a lot of people with cancer, asthma and all, and people are smoking and you just basically don't care. like Councillor McLennan said before, sometimes you have good tenants, but sometimes you have harsh tenants that won't abide by the rules, or they won't go outside, or they won't even stay inside there. So that's one question that I would have, plus many others, you know, as we move along. And I think it should be, because we are part of it, so we should know more about it.
Okay, I think we all agree, do we, to have him attend one of our meetings so we can ask questions, make comments?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Definitely.
Okay, so everybody's in favor of inviting. I did know his name, but it's escaping me right now. So invite him and maybe some of the other, maybe the maintenance person as well, and Norm.
True.
Warden, can I ask a
Probably
question?
good, more than one.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not sure if I missed it or not on another meeting, but Keith, do we have another date set up with TIR for our quarterly meeting coming up?
Oh, yes, that's definitely, we're hoping to get the TIR session, hopefully at our next committee of the whole as well.
Okay, thank you.
We had some vacation that impacted some of the other opportunities for them to come in, so hopefully we can get that scheduled.
Yeah, because we are a bit overdue, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, no, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to be inviting Department of Transportation and also Cape Breton Island Housing to future meetings.
So
Committee
yeah,
of the Whole.
Sean Luker is the new
Oh, yes.
lead for the Cape Breton Island Housing Authority.
Right.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So on to the next item. Okay. The next item is the next meeting date. And are we meeting in August, Council? Probably should.
Yeah.
Why not?
August 6th would be the next meeting date with the July 3rd Committee of the Whole.
Okay.
Sorry, July 23rd.
July 23rd, yeah.
Yep. All good
Okay.
here.
That's good.
And August 6th, right? Thank you.
Are we ready for adjournment, or is there anything else to add? Any further discussion?
There was a few in-camera items.
Okay.